It is that time in the show for Mock Draft Watch 3.0, which is presented, incidentally, by Ticketmaster. Mock Draft Watch and Buffalo Bills draft coverage presented by Ticketmaster. So Maddy is here to do the honors as she has been compiling and compartmentalizing the different choices by mock drafters all over God's creation. And we had an unprecedented, lopsided favoritism toward the wide receiver position in the last installment, and I understand it has gotten even more pronounced.
It's crazy. I thought after the combine we would maybe see some more defensive linemen in there, just knowing that wide receivers were going to start moving up people's boards, start getting mocked a little bit earlier because of the quick 40 times that some of these guys ran. But no. It was wide receiver heavy. We tracked 17 mock drafts in Mock Draft Watch 3.0.
Set the table in terms of the difference between Mock Draft 2.0, because that was like 19-2, right, in favor of receiver, or 19-3. I think it was one linebacker, two linemen.
19-3.
Yeah, 19-3 in
Two
favor of the wide
defensive linemen,
receiver.
one offensive lineman, 19 wide receivers.
Okay.
Mock Draft Watch 2.0.
Now 3.0, what do we have?
Now 3.0, 17 mock drafts tracked, 17 wide receivers.
It was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
Unbelievable.
And if you look at all the mock drafts that we have now tracked, 54 in total, of those 54, 44 times a wide receiver was
Get
mocked
on the
to the Buffalo
receiver
Bills.
train.
Brian Thomas Jr. has been mocked to the Bills 18 total times. Next up is Keon Coleman at 10. Then Troy Franklin being mocked to the Bills 8 times. And Adonai Mitchell is a new favorite, being mocked to the Bills 7 times.
It's like the Jeffersons. He's moving on up.
Moving on up.
He's moving on up. Yeah, I like A.D. Mitchell a lot. After Brian Thomas, I think he's my next favorite receiver of the bunch in terms of what works best for the Bills. I know a lot of people like Keon Coleman. I think they need a different type of receiver. He's not a separator. Adonai Mitchell can separate. He can win in contested situations, and he is a clutch performer. He plays his best in the biggest games. Proof of that is he played in 5 college football playoffs in his college career between Texas and Georgia. He had a touchdown in every one of those games. For my money, if Brian Thomas is off the board, I think this guy could help the Bills the most in a wide receiver 2 role sooner rather than later. 6'4", 192, and we told everybody last week he was going to kill it in the testing at the combine, and he did. I got it right here. He ran the 3rd fastest 40 time among receivers at the combine, 4.34. And he had a 39.5-inch vertical, which among the wide receivers was 1, 2, 3, tied for 4th best. And he broad jumped 11.4, which was the best, which was the highest. He broad jumped the furthest, 11.4. So, yeah, as expected, he killed it in the testing. And I really like what he has to offer. The thing that I think he does best with his route running is his separation at the stem, as our MSG viewers just saw on that route. He gets to the stem of his route, and he loses the DB much of the time. Not all the time, but much of the time. He has a series of jab steps and fakes that eludes coverage at the top of the route. All I'm going to say is, I talked about how he's a clutch player. He had the go-ahead touchdown in the UGA title game win over Alabama as a true freshman. Had the game-winning touchdown in the national semifinal for UGA against Michigan with 54 seconds left in the game. And he had the go-ahead touchdown and the final touchdown in Texas's upset of Alabama last season. So here's the other thing that I like. 1 of every 5 receptions last season for Texas went for a touchdown.
Whoa.
1 out of every 5. He had 8 touchdowns. He had 55 catches. So 11 touchdowns
yeah.
on 55 receptions. He's got great body control to adjust to off-target throws because Ewers is not known as a laser-accurate guy, and he has the body control to adjust to the ball. Great ball tracker on deep throws. And for those that are wondering, why did he transfer to Texas if he was at Georgia and win national titles? He transferred to Texas because he is from Texas. He's a Texas native, and he has a daughter. And he wanted to be closer to his young daughter. That was the main reason that he transferred, because he admitted it was a difficult decision because he wanted to win a third straight national title with Georgia, but he wanted to be closer to his young daughter. There is some injury history there. He missed most of the 2022 season with a high ankle sprain. But beyond that, I think he's got everything you want. So, to me, you get Adonai Mitchell at 28 for the Bills, you should be very happy.
Yeah, he played in 35 career games, had 93 catches for over 1,400 receiving yards, 18 total touchdowns. And when I watched his tape, what stood out to me was he's got a big body frame, and I think he can use that to his advantage as he grows in his game. He's a big play receiver, a separator, like Chris said. He does a great job at tracking the ball. He has nice build-up speed. I love how he can adjust his route to make a catch. And he makes catches that seem like they're outside of his catch radius. He's got a great catch radius, and he does a great job of adjusting his body to make a catch, like you were saying. He's got a nice change of direction, and analysts say he can become a more polished route runner and become an overall consistent player, and I think a good coach can get that out of him. Adam Henry is a great wide receivers coach with the Bills. I think he can get some good stuff out of Adonai Mitchell. And I also wanted to talk about a couple other wide receivers in this segment because we've talked about Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas Jr., and Troy Franklin at length already. So let's start to talk about some other guys who we have talked about on the show, but not at length yet. And I think these two names are starting to get a little bit more pub. I've seen them inch forward into mock drafts at the bottom of the first round. And if there's a run on wide receivers early before the Bills are up, and if they still want to go after a wide receiver, here are a couple names that could be available. So let's start with one of the wide receivers out of Georgia, Ladd McConkey, who has been talked about quite a bit. 6 feet tall, 186, redshirt junior coming out of college football. 39 games played in 3 seasons. Last year, he had 30 catches for 478 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 15.9 yards per catch. He had a back injury and an ankle injury that allowed him to only play in 9 games last season. He ran a 4.39 40. This guy is quick. He played in big games at Georgia. He has experience as a punt returner as well, which I like. When you turn on the film about him, a shifty, quick receiver who's a good route runner. He can trick defenders with his quick feet and soft feet. The speed shows up on tape. He's a dynamic route runner. He knows how to find the creases and get open. He understands the game. When you watch this guy on film, you see a high IQ football player in the way that he operates, in the way that he gets open, in the way that he finds open space on the field. His size and play strength might be a little bit of a question at the next level. 186.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brownie?
I think he projects as a slot for a lot of people because of that size that you mentioned, or lack thereof. He gets separation early in the route. That's another reason why I think he'll be good for the slot. But this, to your high football IQ point, he understands the leverage of the defense and how to exploit it to get open and make himself available early in the down for his quarterback. And he is excellent at maximizing yards after the catch in tight spaces. I watched a lot of Georgia games the last 2 years, and I don't know what it is. He's like a bloodhound with the first down marker. He knows where it is, and he finds it. I can't tell you how many times it looks like the defense has him dead to rights after he's made the reception, and somehow, some way, he gets past the first down marker and gives the offense a fresh set of downs. And the character off the field is literally off the charts. Actually, CBS, during this past season, did a specific feature on him with a kid that was a huge McConkey fan, family, not the most fortunate. And on Christmas Day, he was told from the athletic department about this kid. It's Christmas Day, and he realizes the kid is only 3 blocks away from his house.
No way.
So he drove over to his house on Christmas Day, gave the kid a jersey, 10, 15 pictures. Christmas Day, the guy's like going out of his way to like make a kid's Christmas because, the way it sounded and the way the story was presented, it was going to be kind of a lean Christmas for the kid. So he wanted to make sure he got over there, got him a jersey. That kid's never going to forget that Christmas. But it's just one of the many things he does in the Georgia community down there. Very well thought of human being, like off the charts character stuff. So I think he can help a team right away in the slot. Just with his separation and route savvy, he's really good.
And one other player that I've really fallen in love with when you watch the tape, I really like him, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, 6'1", 211. He's a senior, played in 53 games, made 32 starts over 5 years. He was a first-team All-SEC player in 2022, a Senior Bowl All-American in 2023, actually not 2022. In his career, over 100 receptions, over 1,600 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns, averages 14.8 yards per catch, so a big catch guy. He ran a 4.39 40. He is tall and he is fast. He has nice hands and can make the tough catches. He's got really good build-up speed as well. He has such good strength to him and can break through defenders. I saw a couple stiff arms and hurdles in there. He isn't afraid of press coverage or contact, and he uses it as a strength. He likes to get a little dirty. He reminded me of Josh Allen, how he plays the quarterback position.
Might be the number.
Isn't afraid to stiff arm guys, jump over guys. That is Xavier Legette, and I love that. I love that attitude about him when he's playing the game. I like his catch radius a lot as well. He can add more to his route tree, I think, at the next level. He can be a good run blocker, too, with his strength.
Yeah, he was a guy that had to play quarterback in high school because he was the best athlete on his team, and the coach usually puts that guy at quarterback. And then he had to kind of wait his turn at South Carolina, and he decided to stay there. I'm not going to transfer. I'm going to wait my turn. Because people are like, why has he only got 1 year of production? Is he a one-year wonder? It's like, no, he couldn't get on the field because of the people in front of him. He weighed 221, and he is a ball of muscle. He weighed 221 at the combine. He's only 6'1", but he is built like a brick you-know-what, and ran a 4.39 at 221 pounds and jumped 40 inches on the vertical. He is an explosive athlete. A lot of people compare him to Deebo Samuel. Because of his build. I don't know if he's as loose an athlete as Samuel, but he does offer similar traits in terms of fighting for the football in contested situations. He can do the jet sweeps and the end arounds and power through contact. And the other thing is, and you notice this on his tape right away, when he makes the play, he can break away from defenders. I mean, I'm watching a 221-pound guy pull away from DBs in the ACC and the SEC that look like track athletes, and he is outrunning them and putting distance between himself. You want a home run hitter in Buffalo's offense. I think this is a guy that's going to grow on people as we get closer to the draft. So I think he is firmly in the mix at the bottom of round 1, not for the Bills, but for some other teams that could be in the market for a receiver. And all pluses on this kid's character. He's persevered through a lot. He's lost both of his parents. So just a kid that's really kind of fought through a lot of adversity. If that's not Bill's DNA, I don't know what is. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think he's going to be a late riser here up boards.
He's one of my new favorites. I would be so happy if the Bills drafted him, even in the first round. I think you got a lot in a receiver like this, and I think he can learn more at the next level.